The term African American to refer to all black people was endorsed only since 1988, but was against the desires of the majority of black people.
All right, hold on. Let's stop it right there. So he said only 1988. Let's listen again, because this is a big confusion in in a lot of the conscious community. Uh, they don't like this term African American. They think it was just made up in 1988, which is ridiculous, right? Let's hear it again.
1988 was founded. The term African American to refer to all black people was endorsed only since 1988.
So you heard him, was endorsed only since 1988. So let's run down a little bit of history. Let's run down some history. Life in life. What you talking about? I'm gonna drop the link. So this article is from the Ottawa Lever, 1887. So here we have an organization called the African American League. It has for its object the protection of colored citizens. So we know colored people are the black people. Topeka, Kansas, September 24th, about 250 delegates are here to attend the meeting called for the purpose of organizing the African American League for the protection of colored people in their rights as citizens. Kansas is the 5th state in the union to form a league. So there's 5 states who already have this African American League. Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Alabama have already organized state leagues. This is the first general organization of the colored race, and great enthusiasm for the object of the league is manifested everywhere among the colored people. Like I said, this is in 1887. You see African American. And we can go way further. I just want to show the people participating in this. Like here we have an article, and like I said, everything I'm using is in the description. It's in the description. So this is in 1885, the Florence Tribune from Kansas. So it says Friday, January 1st, African American Day. It says African and Emancipation Day. This is intended to be a double celebration of what the colored race have contributed to the material development of America and of the anniversary of emancipation. Fred Douglass and ex-U.S. Senator Bruce of Mississippi will be invited to deliver addresses. So why is Frederick Douglass participating in the African American Day if the term doesn't even come around to the 1980s? How is this fucking even possible? How? I need to know, Dane. How is this possible? All right. So now we have from the Times-Picayune in New Orleans, Louisiana. Right. Another celebration of African American Day. It says Colonial James Lewis, chairman of the Colored Auxiliary Committee, on behalf of the committee, has invited ex-governor PBS Pinchback to deliver the welcome address to the distinguished colored men. So colored, African American, black, they're all synonymous. Negro, they all go together. They're the same people. Nobody was reclassified. They're the same people. To deliver an address to the distinguished colored men on January 1st, African American Day. African American Day. Governor Pinchback has accepted being heartily in favor of the exposition movement. So we have ex-government officials, black men, who are accepting this, who are going with this. This is not new. This didn't pop up in the 1980s. We've been doing this, right? This is from the Herald and Review, Illinois, Decatur, Illinois, 1884. Again, everything I'm using is in the description. The African American Conference, Baltimore, Maryland, May 8th. The fourth day session of the African American Conference was held today. Reverend W.H. Harder reported a resolution in favor of establishing a connectional mutual aid society, adopted, after which the bishop appointed a committee from each of the subordinate conferences to carry out the provisions of the resolution. So mutual aid society. So we got Africans participating in mutual aid, which is to help each other, which is Pan-Africanism, something y'all are so scared of. Shit is ridiculous, right? So right there, I told you about 4 sources of them using African American, applying to the people. You know, people are celebrating African American Day. They got leagues where they're joining up statewide for the benefit of our people. This is all Pan-Africanism, right? But Dane, he likes to use deception. So he fools y'all to believe certain things is not true, or, you know, y'all just don't read, whatever the case is. But
now everybody in the world know the Aboriginals can't fight. I'm just gonna. Now everybody in the world know the Aboriginals can't fight. Now everybody in the world know the Aboriginals can't fight. Now everybody in the world know the Aboriginals can't fight. I'm just gonna keep it real. Everybody know the Aboriginals ain't got nothing for themselves. We're gonna keep this shit real. And if you're an Aboriginal, man, I hate to be the one to break it to you.
Damn.
But nigga, you ain't never saw no Aboriginal war, nigga.
Damn.
Send me a video with a timestamp. You ain't never seen no Aboriginal war, and they won a successful military only when they fought with us last year.
So he's saying they over. Yo, he said they got no lead.
I didn't know he was going hard like that on them.
Oh,
he said they ain't got no wins, and the only time they did win was when they linked up with them. You heard him say that?
Look, shit. Look, hold on. Get your shit on. Get your shit on.
Get your shit on.
See no Aboriginal war, and they won a successful military only when they fought with us last year. And they didn't even win out of them phase.
Nah, this is classic, y'all. This is classic. This is classic, right?
Yeah, I think
we smoke signal go.
Yeah, let's get some. I want to keep playing this, but let's get an Aboriginal up here for this, man.
Yo, the link is pinned, y'all. I need.
Now, the coincidence is a major factor in this community, and people don't even know it. Goofy motherfuckers.
And thank you all so much for joining us here today. We actually are in the beautiful West African country of Senegal, in the capital city of Dakar. We're joined here with my beautiful wife, Kimberly. And guess what? Get ready for this. Get ready for this. Her distant cousin, Musa. He's actually a native Senegalese with a long line of family members on both his mother's and father's side. So that means that my beautiful wife, Kimberly, has roots here in Senegal. I think that's a beautiful thing. And we're going to actually let Musa say a few words regarding his heritage.
Okay, kontaan naa trop gis naa ko ma xol set na daal vraiment kontaan naa am naa mbégte gis naa sama cousin kontaan naa. Okay.
Thank you so much, Musa. And again, as you all know, Musa does not speak English or French. He speaks his native tongue of Wolof. But we just wanted to show you this rare footage because this is a beautiful thing when an African-American family member reunites. It's been 200 probably plus years with a native African that has never left these shores of the Atlantic Ocean. It's a beautiful thing. We hope this video has inspired everyone that's watching, and we hope that it gets out to many because it's really about motivating others to take those tests and to know that they can be encouraged in finding their native African cousins. Thank you for joining in. Thank you. All right. Hey, we want to thank everybody for tuning in that's watching. My name is Willie Wynn, and I'm here in the beautiful country of Uganda in East Africa. To be specific, we're in the town of Kiwanda. Hey, this is a very special video that's dear to my heart because I have reunited with my native African cousins on my father's paternal side. My cousin here, Swabala, was given a test kit, and her results came back as positive with the test kit that I purchased from my great aunt Ruth Wynn, who's now deceased. She passed away about 1.5 years or so after I provided her with the test kit. So this video is dedicated to my great aunt Ruth Wynn. But look, I want you all to meet my family. This ball of fresh air here, I mean, she is so amazing and so talented. Prosper, can you just introduce yourself to everybody that's watching?
Hello, my name is Prosper. I thank you to see us. Even I want to introduce my two sisters, even my cousin. Thank you.
And would you all like to just briefly introduce yourself to everybody that's watching?
Hello, I'm Swabla, and these are my siblings and my cousin Willie, and I'm really so grateful for the DNA testing, which has helped us to reunite.
Yeah, 5.5 generations away, by the way. That's not that long ago now. 5.5 generations. We're happy. Cousin?
Hi, I'm Patience. I'm glad to see my distant cousin. Thanks.
And I'm happy to see you too. This is awesome. And I want everybody also to see my cousin Stefan. So can you all trade the camera? I want Stefan to come in before we cut this thing. All right. Stefan, if you can introduce yourself to everybody that's watching as well.
My name is Steven. I'm happy because we have been reunited with our cousin Willie because of the DNA test. Thank you.
So, yo, we appreciate you all for tuning in, everybody that's watching. Again, we're here in the East African country of Uganda. This place used to be called the Kingdom of Bakondo, and the Europeans in 1894 named it Uganda. Is that the general history of it?
Yes.
All right. So we can look at Uganda as truly the Bakongo Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you all. Love you.
And cousin. Now, my Nigerian cousin, right? So we can see this is me cover my face. This is my cousin. We share 9 centimorgans across one segment. He's 96% Nigerian and 4% East Nigerian, East Central. So he's 100% Nigerian, basically. So parts of the conversation with my Nigerian cousin, he says he has more matches to people in the Americas. So this is me reaching out to him, asking where he's from. He said, I'm from the eastern part of Nigeria and an Igbo by tribe. So nice to meet him. Does he have any other cousins? He says, yes, I have 148 matches here. And I asked him about the Americas. I was wondering if you have matched to other people in the Americas. You see, yes, I have 149 matches here. This is my cousin, like I said, A00. That's a Nigerian surname, 9 centimeters across one segment. So that all that means is that we probably share the same common ancestor from somebody in the 1700s, because it's that many generations ago that's why our DNA share is so small. So 23andMe connected me to my Igbo tribe. This means some of your ancestors may have lived in it. So this is a quote. This is from this right here. So this means some of your ancestors may have lived in this area, and you may have relatives who still live there. Well, if we go back to my cousin here, they said I might find people from that area who's Igbo. And guess what? They was right. And a lot of people ask about the scientific details, and here they go right here on the Igbo connection. Highly likely match. And again, I have a cousin who is Igbo that I found through DNA. So, to the American Aboriginal community, where is the Aboriginal Americans in history?
This is very specifically for men over 30 years old.
New to my channel, welcome. This is my very first video in English, and maybe we'll have more, I don't know, but I thought it was important to make a video in English for this, because this is actually about my African American relatives, distant, very distant relatives. So a while ago, I did a DNA test with an American company, and actually, excuse me, let me give you a little summary of my background. I'm sorry. I did not, since you probably haven't watched my videos in French, you have no idea what I'm talking about. So I am from Gabon, which is a small country in Central Africa. It's actually on the western coast, but it's in the central area of Africa. So we say that it's part of the central region of Africa. I'm part of the Fang tribe, which is a tribe that exists in several countries: Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Cameroon, and Congo. I think that's it. Yeah. There's about, I don't know, I think about 1 million of us. A while ago, like a couple of years ago, I was interested in knowing more about my, I guess my background. I mean, I kind of knew who I was, but I wanted to make sure, because, you know, you never know, and, you know, there's always family secrets. So yeah, but I was pleasantly surprised because my DNA test came back and I'm 100% African. I'm 99% from the Congo Basin area. So this comprises Cameroon, Congo, and I guess Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. It basically, this is where the Fang people, you know, where they are today. So 99% I'm from there, and 1% I am a, oh, I forgot the term they use. Ancestral African, something like that. So I looked it up, and it's basically very, very ancient African, sorry. So it's basically the Khoisans of South Africa, but also I had no idea. So they're related to Pygmies. Pygmies are mostly in the central area of Africa. So I'm either 1% Khoisan or 1% Pygmy. I don't know. But being 1% Pygmy is actually very interesting because I'm a tall girl, like I'm 5'11". So the reason why I wanted to make this video was because I remember this story that my mom used to tell us. So apparently in my family, there's like a great, I don't know how many greats, how many generations, but a great, like an ancestor. Well, not an ancestor, but a brother of an ancestor. So it's a great uncle who just disappeared one day, just vanished from the village and was never seen again. And so everybody in the family kind of agreed. I mean, that's the story we've heard. That's the story we hear today, that he was probably taken to be kidnapped, stolen, you know, to become a slave in the Americas, you know. And so we never heard from him again. But thanks to technology today, it's just amazing. So after, you know, when you get your test results, you get to see who and how many people you're related to, you know, in this country, in the United States. And I was very surprised to see that there's over 700 people I'm related to. Here are my DNA results. So I'm 99% from Cameroon, Congo, Southern Bantu peoples. This is probably, you know, the Fang tribe, because yeah, we're from, see, Gabon, Cameroon, Congo, the small Congo Brazzaville, and this tiny country here is Equatorial Guinea. So here it is. Now let's go check out my matches. All right, so I'm gonna hide the names. And there you go. I have like hundreds and hundreds of people. It's crazy. It's crazy. So most of them are African American. Some of them are Latinos, and a few are even Asian and white. And I was very surprised. And when you look at their DNA profiles, you see that they have some African ancestry. I guess they just look white or Latino. I mean, because it's probably the majority of their genes, but they do have some African genes. It's just, wow. So we see a lot of people. I'm surprised. I'm like, wow. So this person, if indeed it's him, if this person was taken from my family, had a lot of descendants. And who knows, maybe there was more than one person who was taken. I don't know. Anyway, this is the one story that I know. So I thought I'd share it with you. So here goes. A lot of people. Wow. And it's like between 5th and 8th, I think, cousin, something like that. And so I guess it's between, well, it's a lot of generations, you know. So it's like at least we must have shared a great grandparents, something like that. And it's just amazing, you know. And so I try to calculate what it meant, and it probably means that this great uncle was taken probably in the first third of the 19th century, something like that. So yeah, I thought it was interesting to just talk about this and to talk about how, as an African, I was aware of slavery. Of course, we all are. You know, we have all read about it. We've all watched movies about it. But how, as an African, I was aware of slavery. Of course, we all are. You know, we have all read about it. We've all watched movies about it. But it just feels so distant, you know. And of course, I have a lot of compassion for the people who were taken, the people who now descend from those people who were taken. Like, we come from the same people. We don't really know each other, you know, and it's just so sad. It's just so sad. But now, having taken this test and having seen that I'm related to all those people, it's just very, wow. It's an eye opener. I mean, I'm shocked. Well, not really shocked. I mean, it's not really that surprising, but it's just, it's sad. I'm sad. I'm sad for him. I'm sad for the great uncle who was kidnapped and who never saw his family again. I don't even know what to say. I mean, yeah. I'm sad that I'm really sad that this happened. And I don't know. I guess my story is just about how, you know, we may think we're all different, you know, because, you know, we come from different places, but really we all know we have common ancestors. And so maybe we should just try to work on our differences and just try to, you know, get acquainted more, you know, get to know each other more, because we all are from the same family. Anyway, that's all I wanted to share. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Mic check, mic check. Hi, Sam. Peace to everybody in the building. Peace, peace. Mic check, mic check. How I sound, y'all? Am I good? Somebody tell me something. All right, thank you. Good looking, Ava. All right, so we here. You see the question of the day. Is Albert Perry A00 lineage from America? So, you know, this is one of Abo's talking points, right? That, I mean, it's clear in all the reading that you do about Albert Perry. Oh, Smoke Singer, you a clown. All the reading you do about, oh, my bad. Hold on, let me stop. Once again, Tunde, shout out for the super chat. Definitely appreciate you. You definitely support. Appreciate that. Shout out to Q Black for the super chat. He said these apples have nothing like this to prove their claims. No, they don't. They have nothing that backs anything. It's just you know, at least the Christians, they got a Bible. The apples don't have that. They just got a bunch of YouTube videos with no sources. Right? But shout out to everybody. Peace to the chat. Share, like the video. Send this to your favorite abo. But let's get to it. We're talking about Albert Perry. And the Abels, they like to say that Albert Perry's lineage is from America because he happened to live in South Carolina. Well, they say he was born in America also. But that's not true at all. So we're going to attack some of their talking points and just go over some stuff. Some stuff you probably seen. I got something I think a lot of people might not have seen. I know the Abels haven't seen, but let's get into it. So
in a particular location, like A00, for instance. They have not found any form of A00 in Africa amongst the bones, amongst the people, in archaeology, nothing. They haven't found A00 in Africa, but they have labeled A00 to come out of Africa. So when they find the genetic haplogroups that are closest to A00 outside of Africa, they say they still are out of Africa because we say it's out of Africa. So that's where the problem really lies when you're basing it based on haplogroups that they're giving, maps that they're giving, when they're not actually giving accurate depictions of the migration patterns. And really, we can't even dive into having accurate depiction of the migration patterns until we utilize DNA in the way that it's meant to, meaning as a genealogy test.
So I wanted to let her get it all out. But you hear her say that they haven't got it from any bones and things like that. Let's say it again.
They have not found any form of A00 in Africa amongst the bones, amongst the people. A00 in Africa amongst the bones, amongst the.
She said amongst the bones, amongst the people. So we understand that Dulcinea, she likes to freestyle, right? She likes to repeat things that she hears from other people, but they really just don't know. So this is a paper. You can get it. I'll put the link in the description, right? Ancient West African Forages in Context of African Population History. All right, this came out in 2020. I said the link is in the description. Let's just go down to the abstract real quick. Mind you, she said, hasn't been found in the bones. It said, we generated genome-wide DNA data from 4 children buried roughly 8,000 and 3,000 years ago. Here you go, hardline boss. At Shumlanka, Cameroon, one of the earliest archaeological sites within the probable homeland of the Bantu languages. One individual carried a deeply divergent Y chromosome haplogroup A00, which is found today almost exclusively in the same region. However, all 4 individuals' genome-wide ancestry profiles are most similar to West Central African hunter-gatherers, implying that the present-day population in Western Cameroon, as well as Bantu speakers across the continent, are not descended substantially from the population represented by these 4 people. We infer an African-wide phylogeny that features widespread admixture and 3 prominent radiations, including one giving rise to at least 4 major lineages deep in the history of modern humans. So again, they found 8,000 and 3,000 year old bodies of 4 children, and one of the children was carrying the A00. So we heard her say that they haven't found it in the bones. So we have scientific papers
Found
saying
any
otherwise.
form of A00 in Africa amongst the bones, amongst any form of A00 in Africa amongst the bones.
So we see right away that she doesn't know what she's talking about. So let's go to the next one. I ain't gonna hold y'all long. We're gonna do this quick, get in and out. All right, so the next point we got Ali, right? And he acts like he's the Albert Perry specialist. Hardline boss, chill out. You're gonna see a lot more. This is just the beginning. Trust me, this is just the beginning. Right? I just gotta show some examples of the claims, and you can get right to it. Oh shit, my bad. Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Not yet. Not yet. Hold on. All right, let's go to. I can't do both at the same time. Let's go back to Ali Muhammad. So let's just listen to his claim for a minute.
So anyway, let's share the screen. You asked to see the family line in the United States of America that has the oldest DNA. Now, this is Albert Perry, right? Where was he born? In Florida. And he was born in Florida in 1816. But the problem with that is Florida was Indian country at the time. And so this is his name. I'm pretty sure you know, you're familiar with Albert Perry. If you're not, you need to go look it up. This is a part of his family line and one of his grandsons. So let's go and we can find that these people. All right. John Clyde. This is him on the census. Albert Perry right here. All right. 1880 census. He was never listed as a slave, like Jabari tried to say. Let's get it up close.
So they love saying that, right? So slavery is ended at 1880. You don't see Albert Perry pop up on any records until 1870, which is going to only mean one thing. He was enslaved in America. That's why they have no records of him. But guess what? We can't talk to Albert Perry. So, but we do know what his family say, and I'm going to show you what his family says about that in a little bit. But these guys, they keep trying to just hijack the history, making up their own things, come with their own conclusions, especially this guy, Ali. He's one of the best at it. And he doesn't have anything to support it. He's showing an 1880 census saying, or 1870 census say, look, he wasn't a slave. Well, slavery was over at that time, buddy. Nice try.
Albert Perry and his family. You see Clyde right there, C-L-Y-D-E. Clyde was just right here. That's Clyde Perry, right? They all were from Florida and South Carolina. Now let's do a cross.
Now he just showed Clyde Perry. So how the story of Albert Perry is, the descendants of Albert Perry through Clyde Perry did a DNA test. His family was there was a member of his family who was in the genealogy, and she's the one that put everything together. But again, he's going to show this graph. Let's just hear what he says about this.
Cross comparison between the S&Ps for Perry's family and the Africans. Here it is right in your face, bro. They don't have the same haplogroup, bro. Go find.
So again, that's not true. Let's go to the paper he got that screenshot from. Right. So also the link for this paper is in the description. This paper, now mind you, the screenshot he got that from is from this paper that's Sprouts New Branches. This is where he got this screenshot from. It comes from that paper. So already, you're doing bad, Ali. I showed this the other night, Albert Perry tonight. So this is the screenshot. This is the screenshot on the paper that's titled African Haplogroup, right? And it's not saying anything that he's saying. It's actually showing the descendancy, how these things all line up, right? Now, this is something he didn't want to show you, how they actually have it lined up. They have Albert Perry here. Well, Albert Perry's grandson, the one that took the test, because Albert Perry never took the test. Two of his, one of his great-grandson and a great-great-grandson and a great-great-great-grandson took the test. And you see how we get A00 here, and it comes off. Mind you, you have somebody who they found was older, that the ancient individual from Sri Lanka, that's one of those 8,000 or 3,000-year-old bodies. They tested for A00. that was older than Albert Perry. So this is how it comes off. It comes off for Y haplogroup. Well, the hypothetical Y atom. You got the AL 1090 that splits. That becomes a Khoisan, and the rest of the people that leave Africa and go and populate the world. Then you have that ancient individual from the paper I showed you earlier with the A00 group. This is where they come off the A00. So this one's a little bit older. And then off of this, you have the Cameroon, who has an older mutation. Another man from Cameroon has an older mutation. Then you have the great grandsons of Albert Perry. But he didn't want to show you that. Oh, shit, I'm not even showing. So, yeah, as you can see, my bad, I wasn't showing it. As you can see, the grandsons of Albert Perry, they come off that Cameroon line. There's no denying it. But when you get somebody like Ali who just shows you screenshots from papers, right? This is the screenshot, and they're telling you that we can just read what it says, because so few men have tested and fallen into the line of this line, the dark blue equivalent SNPs reach far back in time. As more men test, this will eventually be broken into individual branches. The men who carry these important SNPs or SNPs and their branching information will either be men from Africa or the diaspora. I would like to thank the Perry family for continuing the contributions to science. So speaking of that, let's go to the Albert Perry family. All right, this is from, let me say, fair use. Right, this is for entertainment purposes only. Well, teaching purposes only. Sorry. Right, fair use. Let me get my fair use banner. Right, we over here combating disinformation. So let's go to the Albert Perry family.
The story has just gotten more intriguing thanks to amateur genealogist Jacqueline Johnson.
So this is Jacqueline Johnson. This is the geneticist, the family geneticist of that Albert Perry line, and the reason we even know about Albert Perry today. You never hear the Abels talk about it because they don't know about it. Right? This is an old documentary. I forget what year it came out, but I had seen this a while ago, and I've been trying to figure out a way to get it to you because you can't. It's on PBS on Prime, so you can't screen share. It'll just go black. Right? So I was finally able to screen record it. I wanted to share it with y'all. So this is Jacqueline Johnson, Albert Perry's descendant. Let's hear what the family said.
She's fascinated by her great-great-grandfather, Albert Perry, who appears on the 1870 census as a freed slave in South Carolina.
He's 43 listed on here, so that means he was born about 1827. And there's my great-grandfather, Clyde, at the age of 3, a toddler. This is the first major census that slaves were included on, with the last names. Prior.
So she has no problem calling him an ex-slave. So why are people lying about this? This is the family genealogist. I don't know nothing about his family.
To that, it was mostly recognized as somebody's property.
Johnson has been able to trace her roots back 5 generations, but she can't find any records before 1870.
This is our family tree. This is myself, my mother, my grandmother, and this is...
So you see, she's done the genealogy. We're not going to play around, right? Just like y'all be out here fronting like y'all, even though we prove y'all time and time again, y'all don't do genealogy. She's done it. Stop crying about it.
My great-great-grandfather, Albert Perry. it's frustrating that you can't go back any further than him because, you know, people just didn't pop up and start existing in 1870. They were alive before.
You hear that? So, Abos, all them deadlines y'all have that stop at 1870. Let's stop playing like you can't imply that those persons or those people that you can't find out about, because I know you got a lot of them. Because you only talk about that one line that leads to a white man in the 1500s. Those people were enslaved. That's why you can't find them before that. It's called a brick wall for a reason.
And so where were they? They were somewhere. You know, I want to give a voice to this story. I want to find out, who is Albert Perry?
I've enlisted the help of 3 scientists who use genetic ancestry tracing in their research.
In 2006, I was watching a PBS special called African American Lives, and they were presenting DNA.
We submitted second DNA samples. These samples can then be compared to DNA samples taken from around the world.
They were showing people, okay, you were connected to this group of people in Liberia and this group of people in Nigeria. And I was like, oh, that's a way I can do it. I can actually test my own DNA and find out where we connect in Africa.
So Jacqueline Johnson, Albert Perry's great-great-great-granddaughter, she's doing all this, right? So y'all gonna tell her she's wrong, right? All the work she put into her genealogy, and when she couldn't go any further, she turned to DNA, and this is what we get: a groundbreaking history, right? Straight out of Africa. So we don't even have to play these games no more, right? Stop saying it unless you got proof. We don't want to deal with y'all feelings unless you got proof. Stop saying that Albert Perry wasn't enslaved. Stop saying that he wasn't from Africa.
To track Albert Perry's lineage, she persuaded a male cousin to provide a sample of his Y chromosome. It was tested here at Family Tree DNA. Bennett Greenspan runs the company.
When I came into work the morning that the sample had been scored the night before, the technicians were actually very excited because they said, we've seen something and we've never seen anything.
So now we know who actually sequenced the DNA. This is the lab at Family Tree. You see the guy that's head of it, right? We don't have to play all these mysterious conspiracy games. These guys have no reason to do this. To act like it has to be from Africa. It would, if they found it was from America, it would make them even more famous. I don't think y'all understand the type of shit that y'all are trying to debunk, right? Scientists want to find things like that. It's just not true.
Thing like this before. Typically, you might find 1 or 2 or 3 novel mutations, but in this sample, we found between 40 and 50 novel mutations.
40 to 50 novel mutations. So those are new mutations they've never seen before.
Which means it defines an entirely new subsection of the tree of mankind.
The Y chromosome from Jacqueline Johnson's cousin was so unusual, it was given its own name, A00. Geneticists checked thousands of other samples in their data sets, but found no one else with the same signal. Until they looked in Western Africa.
So you heard what he said. Geneticists, they looked all through their data set. So if they don't have the DNA in their database, then they can only compare to what they're comparing it to. but they turned to Africa.
The trail leads 7,000 miles from Houston to Mbeta village in western Cameroon. In 2001, there was a program to sample DNA here. When the samples were reviewed in 2000.
So y'all heard it. In 2001, they did some DNA sampling here. In 2001.
When the samples were reviewed in 2012,
they was not reviewed for 11 years. So they keep saying, oh, they didn't, why did they just all magically find it? Or how, they didn't have the DNA before they found it with Albert Perry. No, they did. They collected the DNA. They've been to Cameroon. They collected it in 2001, 23 years ago. Facts, Ava. But the research and the money probably isn't there, and that's not a priority. They collected it, they got it until somebody else picks up the research or the research gets funded more and things like that. I actually found one of the donation pages for the guy that's about to show that that is doing the research. He's from Cameroon.
11 of the men were a match for A00.
11 of the men. So far we got 3,000, between 3,000 and 8,000 children who have A00 in Cameroon. Then they go to this village. They had samples from 2011. From 2001, excuse me. That when they ended up testing them in 2012, they found the A00 thing in there. So what do? They go back.
12. 11 of the men were a match for A00. No one knows who they are because the tests were anonymous. But they're the only other people in the world known to have the same Y chromosome as Jacqueline Johnson's great-great-grandfather, Albert Perry. He must have lived as Jacqueline Johnson's great-great-are because the tests were anonymous. But they're 0. No one knows who they are because the tests were anonymous. But they're the only other people in the world known to have the same Y chromosome as Jacqueline Johnson's great-great-grandfather, Albert Perry.
So out of all the millions and millions of DNA tests, they're the only ones in the world to come up with it. Black Americans take them all the time, other people all around the world, and they only found it here.
He must have lived in Mbeta before being transported as a slave to the United States, carrying with him the A00Y chromosome. What's so remarkable about this chromosome is its age. By counting the number of mutations, it's been dated at 338,000 years old, which means it entered the modern human gene pool before modern humans were even thought to exist.
This sample was kind of history-shattering. It was older than anything that science had ever seen in a male inherited Y chromosome.
So for the people who got hearing comprehensions, they took the samples in 2001. It wasn't sequenced, or they wasn't sequenced till 2012. That's why. So again, they found this ancient haplogroup. They start doing more studies. They find it in Cameroon in ancient individuals. They find it in living individuals, but not in the people who are denying it's from Africa. Those people, they're not finding A00. None of the ABOs is coming up with A00.
And that's what made this discovery so interesting, because this made mankind actually much older than what the scientists had been theorizing for years.
Until recently, the timeline of our species seemed clear. Every man on Earth could trace his ancestry back to genetic Adam. Every woman back to genetic Eve. The earliest fossil evidence goes back 195,000 years to Homo 1. $300,000 years ago lived a forerunner of our species in Jebel Irhoud. But this Y chromosome was older than all of them. A piece of modern human DNA that was 338,000 years old. Potentially a new start date for our species.
When the results came, I was excited. Now his name is in the book. Can you imagine?
His family is happy with the result. You heard her, she's excited. Now her ancestor is in the books. Right? Made him famous. She's excited about it.
When the results came, I was excited. Now his name is in the book. Can you imagine, from a slave, unknown, kind of like somebody's property, and all of a sudden it's known around the world.
You hear the pride. Abo, stop trying to just make up your own history, man. Let's not do that.
To understand more about the A00Y chromosome, geneticists need more samples. Matthew Fomina Forca is the local researcher who did the initial sampling in Mbeta village.
He took the initial samples in 2001. Now he's going back.
I've come here because this is the Combo community where I collected DNA samples 12 years ago. The sample were analyzed and realized that this population has the 11 samples who belong to the A00, implying that those A00 which were found here have contributed to the beginning of humanity.
So you hear what he said. The scientist from Cameroon said, these people here have contributed to the beginning of humanity. Coming out of where? Cameroon.
Those A00 which were found here have contributed to the beginning of humanity.
So we can stop saying, oh, white people say it. Nah, the Africans say it too. Y'all say the Africans don't say this. The Africans say that.
Today, we are continuing the DNA collection that has started in 2001. I am going to swab your mouth with a sterile cotton.
Unfortunately, the climate of Cameroon is too wet to preserve ancient human fossils. So DNA is the only way to find out if our species really did emerge here. But there is another possibility, another reason for the age of the A00Y chromosome.
Now, Abos, pay attention now. You might not like this. You might not like this part, but you want to claim the A00, you can't claim half the science. You gotta claim it all.
Perhaps we inherited it from a different species of human. Although we are now the only humans on the planet, it was not always this way. For tens of thousands of years, the forests of Africa would have been shared between modern humans and archaic humans. It's been assumed there was little, if any, contact between them. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if DNA passed from one species of human to another?
There may have been archaic forms of humans that lived in Western Africa that happened upon modern populations. And this Y chromosome was introduced into the modern population through interbreeding.
Although modern humans were a distinct species, they seem to have mated with other, older species of human and picked up parts of their DNA.
That would help to explain why we found a 338,000-year-old Y chromosome in a very small pocket of humanity in Western Cameroon. For the last 100 years or so, it's been very convenient to think that humans originated in a very simple way in the Garden of Eden. But now we know from the DNA itself that matings between different forms, archaic forms, modern forms, have been going on. Who knows how long that's going back in time, which in fact makes us a lot more like the rest of nature.
Something similar.
So we see what the science says, right? So when we hear them make claims like this,
A00, for instance, they have not found any form of A00 in Africa amongst the bones, amongst the people, in archaeology, nothing. They have.
we know she's just making that up. She's flat out making it up, right? And then when Ali comes on and says that it has nothing to do with Africa and he wasn't a slave, we know he's making that up. It's just that simple.
He was never listed as a slave, like Jabari tried to say.
No, Jabari doesn't say it. His great great granddaughter says it. His family genealogist says it. Jacqueline Johnson says it. He has a name. Jabari doesn't say it. He doesn't. We got that from his family. So we know they're lying. Remember what they always like. The Apples love to say, family knows best, right? Family knows. So what's wrong with Albert Perry's family? What's wrong with Jacqueline Johnson? She did the work. She put the work in.
Let's get it up close. Albert Perry and his family. You see Clyde right there, Clyde. Clyde was just right here. That's Clyde Perry, right? They all were from Florida and South Carolina. Now let's do a cross comparison between the S&Ps for Perry's family.
And this goes right with that sleight of hand scholarship. He shows y'all this graph, and I already showed you where the article it comes from. It comes from right here, where they're indeed talking about this thing comes from Africa. That's all they're talking about in this whole article. They even have this graph right here for you, which shows you the testing that they did in Cameroon, right? The ancient individuals that they found. And then you see Albert Perry's grandsons down here coming off of these lines. Right? There's gonna be mutations. This thing is 300-something thousand years old. Right? But it's just about understanding the science and understanding that Ali tried to trick y'all by showing this. This is the same chart. Like, it's just that simple. They don't have a leg to stand on. That's why they make stuff up. Well, I'm gonna open the panel for a little bit. I ain't gonna stay with too long. But pull up, pull up. We've been in here for almost an hour. We don't got to do it forever. I think I did my job. Right? Albert Perry's A00 line. It comes from an archaic human. Modern humans wasn't just modern humans around at that time. Right? But Abels ain't gonna respond to this. They're not gonna have any evidence to produce anything. Like I said, I brought you his family, right? His family genealogist said he's enslaved. So who are y'all to say he's not? Abel stopped saying he wasn't, right? That's a dark part of our history where we take the good with the bad. We're proud. We're proud people, right? We take the good with the bad. You understand with slavery it comes that fight. And we fought to get out of it. I did presentations on how we freed ourselves. Right? You can go check out that. We freed ourselves. So this ain't no pity party, but when it comes to this DNA, when it comes to science, we know where Albert Perry fits. There's no conspiracy to try to steal it from America. A scientist would love to come along and have proof. You know what I'm saying? He made a discovery. So let me see. What, nobody want to pull up? That's how y'all doing? That's how y'all doing tonight? Let me take a little intermission. Take a little intermission. Y'all don't want to pull up on me. That's all right. We can make this nice and short. I'll be right back.
Freedom, culture freedom. I just met these ladies out here.
Fix this. My bad, y'all. My bad.
In the park randomly. How many of y'all ever heard y'all had Indian in your family?
Absolutely.
Everybody heard that before, right? Where did you hear it from? Who was the person I told you?
Our grandmother.
Once again, thank you very much, lady. I appreciate it.
All right.
Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian. Hey yo, these apples think they it, but they not. Every time I look around, they be on TikTok. Every time I look around, they saying something pseudo, knowing it's a lie, acting like it's really true though. Harriet Tubman's real, Nat Turner is a hero. I'ma keep it a buck, Dan Calloway's a widow. I'ma keep it a buck, Carimio is too. The research lie, he could never tell the truth. That coward A1, he's a miss no more. Just give me a shot, I can miss no more. Just give me the rock, it's a must, I score. These apples need to see a doctor, it's for sure. Hey, Grandma said I'm not an African. Grandma said I'm an Indian.
Okay, King Kapala, what's good, bro?
What they found is that the whole thing is this sham. And when it comes to ancestry tests, right? Spitting in a tube and stuff. It's really silly. I mean, go check this video out again if you haven't. And let's just get started today. I'm going to show you guys 3 funny examples proving how fake this is. And enjoy. Found this on naturalnews.com, but there's actually many websites, the same story. Man sends lizard saliva to 23andMe for DNA testing, exposing total fraud of companies' claims of a human ancestry, okay?
First thing I wanted to do was fact check his source. You could do that with a couple websites. I did it with Media Bias. And when the fact check came back, it says conspiracy level strong, pseudoscience level quackery, and factual reporting very low. Conspiracy pseudoscience. Sources in the conspiracy pseudoscience category may publish unverifiable information that is not always supported by evidence. These sources may be untrustworthy. For credible, verifiable information, therefore fact-checking and further investigation is recommended on a per-article basis when obtaining information from these.
Wife, we extracted
Per-article basis when obtaining information from these sources. Overall, we rate Natural News a questionable source based on the promotion of quackery level pseudoscience and conspiracy theory, as well as extreme right-wing bias. This is one of the most discredited sources on the internet.
Yes. A man and his wife decided to test the accuracy of 23andMe's at-home DNA testing kit by sending in a saliva sample collected from their pet lizard. What they found is that the whole thing is a sham. In the following video, the man explains how, after 3 months of waiting, he received anomalous results suggesting that his pet lizard is 48% West Asian and 51% Ashkenazi Jewish, huh? 23andMe also sent him a report explaining the lizard history and background, including what he supposedly likes to eat. We were shocked, the man is heard stating. Let's go ahead and look at that video.
So this is the TikTok that video comes from. See, it says science, animal, satire. So what is satire? Satire is the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize people's stupidity. To expose and criticize people's stupidity or vices, particularly in the context of contemporary politics and other topical issues.
I wanted to see what would happen if I sent my pet lizard DNA into 23andMe. And so with the help of my wife, we extracted enough saliva to send off in the mail. We were so excited to see the results. After about 3 months, we were shocked. My lizard was 51% Ashkenazi Jewish. He was also 48% West Asian. This was really interesting. They also gave us a little bit of his background and his history, what he liked to eat, etc. Let us know which animal's DNA we should send in next.
What they found is that the whole thing is a sham.
So the moral of the story is pseudos died their source. Corey Mayo thought he could just pull a blog and debunk DNA. That's not how it works. Somebody needs to help him out and show him how to do proper research and look for scientific articles next time.
Now, the coincidence is a major factor in this community, and people don't even know it. Goofy motherfuckers.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with 20 handpicked products that are trending all over the world. Basically,
Atlantic Ocean. It's a beautiful thing. We hope this video has inspired everyone that's watching, and we hope that it gets out to many, because it's really about motivating others to take those tests and to know that they can.
All right, so here are some of my African cousins I found through DNA. Right, this is a Nigerian. He's 100% Nigerian. I showed these last show, but I'm gonna keep showing them. Just keep showing them. This is another Nigerian, 100% Nigerian. 9 centimorgans. We got a 83% Mali, 70% Ivory Coast and Ghana. Ghana in the building. That's 3 African cousins. And here goes another one. Now I probably have more because I got thousands of cousins in my DNA list, and literally thousands at the between like eight. Well, let's say you're mostly gonna find them, 8 to 20. But most of the time you'll find them 8 to like 11 on your centimorgans when you look at your cousin matches and how much DNA shared. Like this is 10 centimorgans. He's 83% from Benin and Togo, 11% Ivory Coast and Ghana, 6% Nigeria, 100% African. So I seen somebody ask in the chat, "Oh, how can you these fake DNA tests? Are they connecting you to Africans?" Yeah, they are. They definitely are. I mean, it's just like the title says, DNA is only fake to people faking it. Right? You got these abos, Moors, Israelites, whatever. They try to say they come from these places that they just don't. That there's no historical narrative. The DNA don't match. It just is what it is. Facts, Khalil. They don't believe in real history. They don't believe in real history at all.
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space? Enter your address and get a 360-degree satellite view of your home right now. See your city, your street, even your rooftop from above like never before.
So here we got this article, August 3rd, 2023, from 23andMe, DNA connection to early enslaved and free African American. A hidden history revealed, a new collaborative study from 23andMe, Harvard University, and the Smithsonian University. We don't know their names, but a new historical DNA analysis by researchers at 23andMe, Harvard University, and Smithsonian Institution has revealed more about the enslaved and freed African Americans who labored at a Maryland iron furnace just after the founding of the United States. Along with insights into the lives of these forgotten people, the study leveraged 23andMe's large research database to find connections between these people and more than 40,000 of their living relatives. So these are people who have been long gone. They worked in a Maryland iron furnace in the 1800s, 1800s. I think it closed early 1900s. Yeah. So the stunning analysis published in the journal Science reveals a hidden history. You can also find an open access PDF of the paper here. Moreover, it provides a technical and ethical benchmark to inform future studies of similar, largely forgotten burial sites. So again, this is an African American burial site. Our study demonstrates the power of DNA to uncover important history about the lives of people whose stories are lost to time, said lead author Eoden Harney, PhD, a 23andMe scientist on 23andMe's population genetics R&D team. The study revealed more about these individuals, including identifying familiar groups, discovering details of their ancestral origins in Africa, and connecting their history to people living today. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Oh, I'm back, y'all. My bad. All right, so we had this DNA study at this burial site in Maryland of Black Americans. All right, so here's some reconstructions of the Historical Society. These are forensic facial reconstructions. All right, connection to early American industrial site. These researchers looked at the DNA from the remains of 27 individuals, many of them and children, excavated from a cemetery. So remember, you know what the question is? Well, are they digging up bodies? Are they comparing your DNA to people in the ground? Yeah, they are. They actually are. We keep trying to tell you this. All right. Excavated from a cemetery at the historical site of Katoken furnace. Among them are 15 related individuals clustered into 5 family groups, which were mostly made up of mothers, their children, and siblings. The remains of those related individuals were generally found buried near one another. Their DNA indicates that these individuals have more ancestry connected to a region known as Senegal and Gambia, and more specifically groups from that region such as the Wolof and Mandinka, than do most modern-day African Americans. Many also had European ancestry, mainly from Britain and Ireland, likely due to rape of enslaved African American women by their white enslavers and others in position of power, who have primarily European ancestry. Further evidence of that exploitation was that much of the European ancestry was on the paternal side. Meaning, if this was such a fluid back and forth thing, you would see a kind of a mix. You would see ancestry coming from Europeans from the mother and the father side. But they're saying it's mostly the father. So you got to think it's mostly white men having sex with black females. That's what they're saying. Mostly white men having sex with black females. If it wasn't a race-based society, or these white men didn't have power, meaning they had society laws, codes, slave laws, shit like that, where a white man can do that without any repercussions. You can see that in the DNA. That's what they're pointing out. The highest concentration of the Catrogen individuals' closest living genetic relatives are in Maryland, indicated that some surviving family members of those who labored at the forge remained in Maryland since the late 1700s or early 1800s. Over here it says portion of the participants who shared DNA with Cochrane individuals. The site, Furnace in Maryland, and locations de-identified study participant colored dots. Darker dots indicate more participants related to those at the burial site. Image, Harney science. So it's a site here in Maryland, and the darker spots, it's a stronger relation. All right, reconnecting the lost roots. Harvard geneticist Dave Rich helped oversee the study along with Douglas Arsley, curator of biology and anthropology at the Smithsonian. The Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History is the custodian of the remains, while scientists at Rich Lab handle the extraction of the and DNA testing, extraction and testing of the DNA. Again, these are bodies that they buried up. That they dug up from a cemetery in Maryland. These bodies go from the late 1700s all the way through the 1800s. Our study combines for the first time two transformative developments in genomics. In the last decade, ancient DNA technology, which makes it possible to efficiently sequence whole genome data from human remains and direct the customer genetic database that contains data from millions of people who have consented to participate in research, said Rec, co-senior author, as well as professor of genetics in the Blavatnik Institute at Harvard Medical School and professor of human evolutionary biology in Harvard's FAS. This work demonstrates the power of DNA to provide information about ancestral origins, he added. Harney, who completed her PhD in Rex Lab before joining 23andMe to facilitate this collaboration, and other 23andMe researchers designed and implemented an approach to compare the genomes of the Cochrane individuals with DNA from over 9 million 23andMe customers who consented to participate in research. As a result, the scientists identified more than 42,000 living relatives. Most of these relatives are distant, and a much smaller portion have a closer relationship. The closest matches were likely fifth-degree relatives, equivalent to a great-great-great-grandchild. And if you look here, they show you the lighter part is where you find the relatives, most of the relatives. So they stayed generally not in the same Maryland area, but on that eastern seaboard, they stayed over there. But there's still people all around, right? You see this dark low, this middle country, ain't no black people out there. Ethical considerations. Studies like this, let me see. Or everybody share and like the video, man. Share and like the video. I'm gonna get right back to it in 1 second. All right. Studies like this are extremely delicate, not only because it is sometimes difficult to extract DNA from bones, but also because of the ethical questions this type of genetic analysis raises, especially when it comes to people who live recently enough that they are almost surely closely related to individuals and communities today. As part of this work, the researchers have outlined the ethical consideration in a companion paper published in American Journal of Human Genetics. In addition, there's a Q&A published on a blog from study co-author Rosalind Curry, a Harvard Kenneth Griffin Graduate School of Arts and Science student in the Rex Lab and former 23andMe intern. Typically, before work would begin on a DNA analysis like this, scientists would consult with relatives or local communities. But when this study started, there were no known family members of the enslaved people from the Cochrane Furnace site to consult. Instead, the Cochrane Furnace Historical Society consulted with members of the African American Resources, Cultural and Heritage Society in Frederick, Maryland. Later, archival researchers at the Cochin Furnace Historical Society identified descendants of 2 African Americans who labored at the site, one free, the other enslaved. These descendant families also were consulted and expressed strong support for the project. This study represents a step toward meeting our ultimate goal of identifying a Cochin descendant community using DNA and other tools, said Elizabeth Coleman of the Cochin Furnace Historical Society. Here we got a little graph, average separation between historical and living individuals, say about 5 to 6 generations. Minimal separation between historical and living individuals, 2 to 3 generations. Right, the furnace was established in 1744. The furnace, American Society in use. This is where they use the cemetery between 1744 and 1850. Furnace actually closed down in 1900. And it says birth of research participant who shared DNA with individuals. So it looks maybe, I say 1930 to present, I guess. Well, not present because people just born aren't taking DNA tests, but up until the 2000s. Right? African American history and connections. Collaborators on the study also included Boston University's Linda Haywood and John Thornton, who have extensive expertise on African American history and culture. Also instrumental in the work was Harvard Henry's Lewis Gates Jr., the Alphonse Fletcher University professor and director of the Hutchinson Center for African and African American Research at Harvard, and host of genealogy and genetic TV shows, Finding Your Roots. Recovering African American individuals' direct genetic connections to ancestors heretofore buried in the slave past is a giant leap forward, both scientifically and genealogical, opening new possibilities for those passionate about the search for their own family roots, said Gates, who was also a co-author of the paper. History revealed. Like hundreds of thousands of African American burial grounds across the country, the history of those who were buried at the Cochin Furnace could easily have been lost. There were no inscribed headstones, and many of the other stones that marked the graves had been moved. So this is what we talk about when we say, going into the past with Black Americans. It's hard, locate them because these people, like they said, have been forgotten. Their graves aren't marked. Descendants probably stopped saying their names. They moved away. The stories aren't being told no more, so the connection gets lost. The forgotten burial ground at Cochin Furnace was first unearthed in the 1970s during construction of a new highway in Frederick County, Maryland, and the remains were placed in the care of the Smithsonian. They knew that graveyard was there. The city knew. The history of the iron furnace is well documented. It was founded near a site that was naturally rich in iron ore, with an extensive surrounding forest as a source of charcoal. The first owner of the furnace was Thomas Johnson Jr., a wealthy enslaver, the first non-colonial governor of Maryland, and a signer of the Articles of Associations, a precursor document to the Declaration of Independence. Iron production began in earnest in 1776. It contributed in an important way to the arming of the fledgling Continental Army, supplying hundreds of tons of shells for the siege of Yorktown. So this is the remains of Isabella Furnace, an iron furnace part of Cochin Furnace in Cunnington Falls State Park, Maryland, USA. Early industrialization in the United States. The furnace grew over time during the early stages of the industrialization in the United States. By about 1840, immigrant laborers replaced the enslaved workers at the facility, while the furnace remained in operation until the 1900s. The critical contributions of Cacherton's enslaved and free African American workforce was largely forgotten. The site serves as an early example of industrialization and provides an example of the contributions of enslaved people in the early industrial workforce in the United States. Laborers first dug the ore out of the ground, washed it, and then transported it to the furnace on carts. The furnace itself ran nonstop for months at a time. The fires were fueled using charcoal made by burning trees felled nearby, and then burned in large mounds that were tended by colliers. Beyond the work related to the furnace, enslaved people also worked in the area as domestic and farm laborers. In previous studies, anthropologists at the Smithsonian were able to identify physical ailments from which the Cacherton individuals suffered through examination of their skeletal remains, such as a hip deformity that left one young woman with a lifelong limp. A man with a bent and fused spine, a teenager with multiple compressed vertebrae, likely due to heavy manual labor. The scientists also found high levels of zinc in the bones of one individual, likely caused by industrial process of cleaning accumulated zinc deposits from inside the furnace stack. In this study, DNA analysis found evidence suggesting that 3 individuals may have suffered from or been carriers of sickle cell anemia, caused by the HBS variant in the HBB gene. Connecting families. Connecting these unnamed enslaved people to living relatives and thereby shedding new light on their ancestral origins and genetic legacy was only possible with the access to a diverse genetic database like 23andMe's. This study offers additional insight into genetic legacy of the enslaved and free people who labored at Cacherton Furnace, combined with study 23andMe completed in 2020 looking at the genetic impact of the transatlantic slave trade. There is an increased understanding of the impact of slavery on those embodied, their descendants, and their unacknowledged contributions to American history. So yeah, they like I said, DNA is only fake to those faking it. Right? They found a burial site with the remains of 27 individuals and was able to match them to 40-something thousand living people today. So when the Abels be like, oh, they're not matching it to no bones in the ground. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So it's like, what more can y'all say? Like, if you take a DNA test, you'll be able to find out too. But you're too scared because it's gonna crumble your little fake ideology of being from America. It's going to destroy that. So I know there's a couple people out there want to jump on the panel. Jump on the panel, man. Let me hear what you got to say about DNA. How fake it is. True Story has sent me this. He said, I forgot how much he said to read. You still out there? You said read the first paragraph. What you say? I'm going to read some of this. This is from the Brooklyn Daily Eagle. Negro Colony, Long Island. Oh, yeah, I might know about this one. Flushing's Descendants of Islands, Slavery Days. Flushing has a large and flourishing Negro colony that dates back to the earliest settlement of the town. This is in Queens. When slavery was maintained, the Hollanders and English bringing their slaves to America with them, and they were, on the whole, kind and indulging masters. In the old records is mentioned the fact that house containing Flushing's town records was burned in October 1789 by Nellie, a slave of D. Brain, and Sarah, a slave of John Vanderbilt, the town clerk. They were brought to trial, and Nellie was hung in 1790, while Sarah was pardoned on account of her youth. Yeah, we always fought back. Burnt that shit right on down. When they were freed from slavery, the Negroes generally remained in the locality, and their descendants became orderly members of the working class, with an occasional instance where genius has arisen, superior to caste and unfortunate tyranny of circumstances. It ain't no. I don't like how they said occasionally. There are still living in the town those who were held in bondage while young. The youngest members of one of those old-time families was born on the day that Dewey took Manila. His father's name was Hobson, so he was probably named Dewey Sampson. And his last name being already Hobson, he bears the name of 3 heroes. Check. Got more. What's good? You back?
What's up with medical news?
What's going on? What's going on? You there?
Real quick. Give me a second. I'm about to put something up right now. Yeah.
Have at it. What you about to pull up, man?
I'm pulling up. I'm pulling up some hunter-gatherer DNA real quick.
Some hunter-gatherer DNA. This gonna be good. Real rap, what's good, man?
Chilling, not a coincidence. Peace. How you been?
Chilling. You know, same
yeah, I
old
was in.
shit.
Okay. Yeah, peace to you, man. Look, man, you doing some good work with this DNA, drop. I watched the whole entire live that you did yesterday, and respectfully, like the brother that's getting set up, it was hilarious. The brother is 88% African and denies what his own chart said. I was crying. And then the man said that one of the most documented revolutions in history is fake, which is crazy. So yeah, man, I just been falling back, doing studies on like origins of man and getting more in depth with this with like the more technical parts of DNA. So I've been enjoying this. It was a good drop you did the last couple lives.
Well, I
Peace
appreciate
to the
that.
panel. Peace to the chat. Mm-hmm.
Cali, Lucky, what's good? Y'all there?
What's up, fam? What's up with you?
What's good? What's good? Ain't shit. I seen you over there at Power Channel, but you got off quick. What happened? They kicked you off, or you just
Nah, it's
got
a
off?
little. It was a little rank session with, you know what I mean, a little Hawk school. He tried to get his jokes off, but you know how it go, man. The Abos, man, they out of shape, they out of luck, they got bad morals. You know what I'm saying? They need to hang it up, man. It's a midlife crisis. You feel me? We working on them, you know what I mean? We rehabilitating them, you know what I mean? But it's only so much we can do.
Not a coincidence. But you see my screen in the back?
Yeah, I see your screen. That's your DNA, right?
Yeah. Ancient hunter-gatherer.
Yeah, 88% sub-Saharan African.
Now, look at that. Why is there no West African hunter-gatherer?
Why is there no West African hunter-gatherer? So, hold on. So, a lot of the ancient populations in like West Africa are swept up with the Bantu migration, which isn't that long ago. But there's still you trying to say there's no ancient West African DNA? That you trying to say? What's good, Sean?
Man, cool. And what he trying to say?
That's what I think he's trying to say. There's no ancient West African DNA.
What?
Is that what you're trying to say, brother? Yeah, he's West African. You see it up there, right? So all right. So you do know that. Hold on.
West African hunter-gatherer, though.
Hold on.
Can you please pull that up?
This the same dude from the other day.
Yes, same exact one. But hold on. So it's
making
about
shit up, bro.
Yeah, he is. So is it about the term hunter? Hold on. Is it about the term hunter gatherer, or do you want to see ancient West African DNA?
I want to know why.
Yeah, see what's on that shelf right there.
Like,
so look, is it about, do you want to see ancient West African DNA, or is it about the term hunter gatherer? Which one is it?
But do you not see my screen?
Yes, but I'm asking you a question. Can you answer my question?
No. Does he understand what he has on the screen? Does he comprehend what he is sharing? There's a malfunction. There's a malfunction that's happening. So we have to determine where his comprehension is within the confines of him sharing the screen. Does he comprehend what he is sharing? Does it make sense to you, brother?
Stop muting me, bro. I ain't even saying shit.
I ain't mute you, bro. You muted yourself.
Look at this.
Bro, what's up, bro? Chill out, Smoke.
I ain't touched that nigga's mic.
Yeah, we can't even hear anyway when he opened his mic.
Yeah, yo, Smoke, your background loud.
I hear this mic, nigga. You got that badass mic.
Lucky hit it?
Yeah, nigga, that loud ass mic. You back there wrestling toddlers, man. Come on.
Boy, you gotta
Smoke
give
was
us
dealing with his African. Smoke was dealing with his African family members.
That's
what he was doing.
Ayatollah.
All right, more. All right, can you explain your point? You got the floor. I just need you to, instead of asking questions, explain the point. What is your point?
This is pretty self-explanatory. Ayatollah Neolithic farmer. That's Natufian. Okay. European hunter-gatherer.
What? Hold up. How the hell did you determine?
Yeah.
How did you determine that Ayatollah is a Natufian?
Do you not know where Turkey is?
Okay, I'm gonna say this one more time, brother. Are you looking at what the fuck we're looking at?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the very first thing? What's the very first thing that's at the top of this breakdown? What's at the top? Let's go one by one. Let's go.
It's modern sub-Saharan Africa.
No. It doesn't say modern. It does not say. Go up there. He said he threw the word modern in there.
Right, it's sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, we ain't listening to that. Say it one more time. What does it say?
It's a sub-Saharan African.
How much? What's the percentile?
It doesn't matter what the percentile is.
No, yes, it fucking does. What is the percentile, my brother?
What is this chart supposed to be showing?
88%. You almost 90% sub-Saharan African.
Hunter, gatherer, farmer, ancestor.
Hold on. Do you comprehend what you're looking at? Do you understand it?
Do you?
All right. Apparently you don't, because you're avoiding what is
West Central?
Bro, listen to what I'm asking you. Listen to what I'm asking. Listen to.
What is the name of the sample for West
More.
African gatherer?
More.
I'm
Hold
trying
on.
to walk with you, bro.
Hold on, Sean. I got you. Let me just moderate this real quick. More. We had a good conversation the other day, and the reason why is because we wasn't cutting each other off. So Sean's asking you a question. I'm pretty sure if you answer his question, he's gonna answer yours. All right, y'all can have a back and forth. I know you can do it, man. All right.
Sean keep cutting him out though. Hey, Sean keep cutting him out though.
Yeah, but he's
Man,
also
be
not.
quiet, bro.
He's not answering Sean's question on purpose though.
I want to answer that nigga question if he keep cutting me off.
Be quiet, bro. Mute your mic and let
Smoke.
Sean and them do back and
Hold
forth.
on, Gally, I got him. Smoke. We're gonna get to you in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, Smoke. We ain't gonna. 2 minutes. Don't worry. We ain't gonna make you wait. But go ahead, Sean. More. Just be open to answer the question, and he'll answer yours too. Go ahead.
Smoke voice. Brother. What I'm trying to do is walk with you in regarding to comprehending what you actually understand. So once we establish a level of comprehension, then we can evolve from what's hanging you up. That's all I'm trying to do. That's why I'm asking you the question. So if the very first line says sub-Saharan African and the admixture is 88%, right? Right? Do you agree with that? Is that what it says?
That is what it says, but it's not supposed to say that.
Hold on. Okay, now stop. Let's get something clear. What is it supposed to say?
Bruh, do you not look at what the chart is supposed to be showing? Hunter-gatherer and farmer ancestry.
No. Go back. The very first thing on there says sub-Saharan African. True or false?
Bro, yes, it does say that.
And what percentile? So what percentage of your admixture is sub-Saharan African?
Bro, you don't get what's the point.
No. Walk with me, bro. Remember, we're going back and forth, but walk with me. I'm trying to meet you where you
y'all play games too much. Like, I can't do this. Like, y'all play games too much.
He's not playing games with you, bro. Just answer the question.
I'm actually meeting you where you are. I'm meeting you where you are so we can gain an understanding of what's hanging you up. I just said that. I'm trying to figure out where you're hung up at. So
This is how I lowered my car insurance rate by $110.
I had no clue I was overpaying for car insurance.
Hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. The roots of a tree and not hate the tree.
You ain't no Indian, please try again. Everybody know you's an African. And Malcolm X said, you can't hate the root without hating the tree. Now take a look at you, you's a wannabe Cherokee. And I told you before, you need some therapy. And why you never show the genealogy? You owe your ancestors an apology. And you know they turning over inside of their graves just because you don't wanna come from a slave. So you gotta take this Whipton. I caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple. Caught another apple. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. caught another ass go slipping. Caught another ass go, caught another, let's go. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple slipping. Caught another apple, caught another apple, caught another apple slipping. Yo, check this out, man. You wasn't already here, man. Dane Calloway lied to you, man. The research guy lied to you, man. Caremio lied to you, man. Your ancestors come from Africa, whether you like it or not. So no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you will always be an African. You can't deny the facts. You can't deny the evidence. You can't deny the genealogy. You can't deny the DNA. You can't deny it, man. Whether you like it or not, you are African. Call the abo slipping. That's all we do. That's all we do. Let's go.
Like it was a platoon boat, it could hold like 10 people.
Y'all niggas used to be over there talking about sweet pussy sound familiar. Yeah, you know. OG knows too. He got her email address.
Where she at? She in Cali. So I said, what's happening?
Your mic muzzled, motherfucker.
Can y'all see that?
Hey, shut your ass. Yo.
Can you read it? Can you see it?
Nah, we can't read it. You gotta read it, bro. What up, Juice?
What's up, bro? Chillin'.
That's what's up, Jake.
All right, check it out. It say Elizabeth Morris, born, say, 1688, the servant of Francis Weeks, was presented by the grand jury of Middlesex County, Virginia, on January 8th, 1705, for having a mulatto bastard child.
Now you see now, you done fucked up in that, don't you?
The court ordered the sheriff to give her 25 lashes and ordered the church wardens of the parish to sell her after she completed her indenture to the Weeks. She was presented for the same offense on June 7th of 1708. She was a mulatto woman whose son, James Morris, was baptized in Christ Church Parish, Middlesex County, on 15th of March in 1705. But yeah, she one of my great grandmothers in the house, you know?
That's what's up, bro.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I just found that record a few days ago, and it was a Christian record, you know, from the church way back then in Virginia.
What's good? It's your brother YK the Truth, and another abo dies by his own genealogy. Now there's a brother named Juice who's always trolling me on Smoke Signals channel. I would have never made a video about this brother, but every time I pull up, he got something to say about me. So now you made the list. So he goes on Root Words channel and he shows his records, right? Now, a while back, he has been telling me that he had records from the 1600s.
Let's be real, the trading industry is a scam. Most trading courses out there are just repackaged strategies that used to work years ago, but they are completely useless now. Yet they keep selling them like they are some new breakthrough. That's why traders keep hopping from course to course, hoping the next one will finally make them profitable. But by the time a strategy is taught, the market has already evolved. That's why traders keep losing. They are not trading, they are just chasing lies. That's why we do things differently. We don't sell old recycled BS. We give traders a proven system that actually works in today's markets. Updated, tested, and backed by real results. My name is Brett Goh, and I'm the guy that retail traders come to when they need more than just another course. They need real lasting change. I don't offer empty promises or shortcuts to success. I don't sell trading signals that make you dependent on others or complicated strategies that you can't execute on your own. What I do is simple. I show you how to trade profitably using our proven mechanical trading system that has already helped over 1,300 traders achieve incredible results. I never leave you hanging to figure things out on your own. Instead, I focus on one thing and one thing only, guiding you to build consistent profits while being supported by a community of traders who are just as committed as you are. You're not just learning from a course, you are joining the 1% Club, a private group of traders who share their wins, their struggles, and their knowledge with each other daily. With the help of our system, you can turn a small amount of money, like $500, into thousands. Make your first 10K per month from trading, or even become a six-figure funded trader like many of our members. Like Alia, who went from $0 to 25.6K per month in 2 months.
So I made 25,000 in exchange for 35 pounds.
Holy shit, that's incredible. That's absolutely insane.
Samudin
made his first 10K from trading in just 1 month.
I took 23 trade, 19 take profit, only 3 went bad, and it made me a huge amount of money.
Temu, who turned $100 to $1,000 in only 1 month.
It was $100 actually. Yeah, $100. Yeah, $100 to $1,000.
And many more. It doesn't matter if you trade forex, crypto, stocks, or any other asset class. The 1% trading blueprint works across all markets. Here's what happens when you join us. You'll spend just 30 minutes a day learning the system. You will have access to daily coaching calls with professional traders who have been where you are and know how to guide you to success. You will practice and improve in real time with the full support of your peers and coaches. I know the struggles that come with trading, and I know how to simplify everything so even a beginner can understand. That's why I'm reaching out to you right now, because there are limited spots left, and I want you to be a part of this tight-knit, supportive community before we close the doors. Here's how you can get started. Click the button below to watch the video on the next page. Once you watch the video, you will discover more about my mechanical trading system. And if you would like to test it out risk-free and watch this system in action in real time, then just book a no-pressure demo call. We will hop on a Zoom call to discuss your goals and how the 1% Club can help you achieve them. We will walk you through the exact process our students use to consistently make profits. You will get to see the results firsthand and ask any questions you have. If it's a fit, you will join us inside the 1% Club and we will get started immediately. Let's make this the turning point in your trading journey. Go to the link below, watch the video and see how you can go from a struggling trader to a profitable trader in a short amount of time using my mechanical trading system.
You know what I mean? I'm thinking it ties him to an Indian, but it doesn't. He shows a record of mulattoes in Virginia. And we know what a mulatto is in Virginia in the 1600s, in the late 1600s. In the late 1600s, Virginia, a mulatto person was generally defined as someone of mixed European and African ancestry. All right. So Juice shares his genealogy and he shares Elizabeth Morris, right? Servant of Francis Weeks. and somebody gets in trouble for having a mulatto child, and that mulatto child is going to be no other than Juice's ancestor, right? So that proves that Juice has African ancestry. Now, if you go to the Morris family, and you can find this on the freeafricanamericans.com, African, and it says Elizabeth Morris, born, say 1688, the servant of Francis Weeks, was presented by the grand jury of Middlesex County, Virginia, on the 8th of January, 1705. Now, we know about the law in 1705, right? The Virginia law. We're going to speak about that, about Africans for having a mulatto bastard child. So we already established that a mulatto is an African and a European. The court ordered the sheriff to give her 25 lashes and ordered the church wardens of the parish to sell her after she completed her indenture to Weeks. So even after she completed her indentured servitude, she would still be sold. So that means she was a slave, right? She was a mulatto woman whose son, James Morris, was baptized in Christ Church Parish, Middlesex County, right? There's the microfilm. So, Juice, we found your African ancestry, all right? This is why ABOs don't show their genealogy, because when they show their genealogy, somebody turns into an African. Winifred Morris, born 9th May 1707, a mulatto belonging to Francis Weeks, was baptized in Christ Church. All right? Francis, born a mulatto, probably identical to Francis Mulatto. He brought a suit against Anthony Jasper by the Chesterfield County. He was called a mulatto. So the Morris were mulattoes, and they were mixed people. They had African ancestry in them. So no, Juice, this does not prove you're an Indian. Let me repeat that. This record does not prove you're an Indian. This record only proves that you have African ancestry. And the 1705 law is going to prove it. Remember, the time that person was born was 1705 in Virginia, Juice. In Virginia, Juice. So, Juice, you have African ancestry. So anytime I say, yo, what record you got and how far you go back, right? And you tell me 1600s, late 1600s, the only reason you go back that far is because you have European and African being mixed. Most of them things were documented, you know, because of a court, something that happened in court. Something that happened in court left these records. But if this didn't happen, you wouldn't have went back that far. And this damn sure don't establish your Indian ancestry. So don't speak of this record, because this record literally ties you to Africa, not to America. Okay? Now, the following law was not the first version of Virginia's slave code, but earlier laws were very incomplete. In 1662, 1667, 1682, and 1693, Virginia had passed various parts of slave codes, including the 1662 law that made enslaved status hereditary through the mother. A 1667 law declared that baptism did not free slaves. A 1682 law allowed the enslaving of Indians. A 1693 law was at first about runaways on an outlying plantation, but after revising by the upper house, Virginia's council, it added disturbing new language that dictated that mulatto children of white women and Negro men to be bound as indentured servants for 31 years. Did you hear that? So a white woman and a Negro man, you would be an indentured servant for 31 years. It also punished those white women with either a hefty fine, or if they could not pay it, with a whipping, right? Remember the lashings? With a whipping and servitude themselves for 5 years. Before 1705, there were many attempts to pass a more comprehensive code in Virginia, one loosely modeled on the Barbados Code. Now, let's go to another part of the Virginia law, right? And it says, and if any Negro...
Are you drowning in payday loan debt? Have you taken out multiple payday loans and are unable to pay them back? Then listen to this message closely. A recently announced payday loan forgiveness program is allowing Americans with payday loan debts to be forgiven by as much as 80% of the balance owed. This program is only available for a limited period of time. We strongly advise you to call in now to see if you qualify for this limited time offer. If you fall behind on your payday loan payments, the creditors will contact your employer and pull money directly out of your paycheck, put a lien on your house or vehicles, and hassle you with collections calls every day. To put an end to your payday loan debt problems, click on the link below and see if you qualify for the Payday Loan Debt Forgiveness Program. It takes less than 30 seconds to see if you qualify. If you do qualify, we recommend you call right away, as calls are taken on a first-come, first-served basis. We understand that payday loans can be a lifesaver when you're in a bind, but they can also be very expensive and impossible to pay off due to their predatory interest. This new program will help to get you back on your feet and out of debt. Don't waste your money or time. Click on the link below right now to see if you qualify.
You avoid trouble. With fair warning. Choose Chrome with built-in malware protection.